Love is just like Maggie that you add to it. Love is the smallest ingredient in the equation of marriage. So you don't marry for love, you marry for longevity. Will this last? If it will not last, we can have a relationship, outside marriage, because it will be short-lived. You need to know that when someone is cordial with the enemy, you cannot sleep with the enemy cannot come. That is people that don't like you. Christians, you are the bigger fools. Why do we call a person a fool? A fool is a person that does not understand knowledge. A fool sees trouble from afar but cannot identify trouble. A fool sees trouble from afar and walks into trouble. You cannot stand against your spouse's family if they are joined against you. Your spouse is supposed to be you. How would I put it? You marry a man, you think, or a woman, and you think she would protect you from the wiles and the darts of the family. And in the beginning, it is so. But you need to understand one thing. As long as there's cordiality between your spouse and the family that does not like you, they would overwhelm him. They would overwhelm her. It might not be immediate. 2, 3, 4 years, you will now start seeing holes in the armor. As long as there's cordiality. As long as they are very good. The only thing they don't agree on is your wife. The only thing they don't agree on is your husband. But besides that, they are good, they would overwhelm her. They would overwhelm him. So a major problem we've been having that I have seen are in-laws. Now, I have now come to the conclusion that a person is the family they come from, unless the person severes the family they come from. Because they constantly would say, well, your wife should have known better. There is this lady that whenever they have a family meeting, they always come for, maybe 2, 3 times a year. They come for Easter, they come for... Whenever they are coming and the wife cooks, when they get there, they bring their own food. They show you that they will not eat the food and the wife goes through all kinds of... So when they leave, the wife will now give, the driver will give... And the husband will say, don't worry. You see, as long as they keep bringing their food and they are able to eat their food inside your house, then there will be a problem. They would overwhelm the woman. They will, as long as there's cordiality. So the thing I would tell you in my conclusion is this. Please, when you see that the family that you want to marry is hostile to you, it has become an enemy. Matthew tells you, Jesus said, don't think I have come to bring peace, but I've come to bring a sword. Down, he says, for a man's enemy are those of his father's house. Another version will say, a man hath no enemies except that of his father's house. Your real enemy is in your house. And once the house is cordial with another matrimonial house, the house always wins. There is no way. There is no way. I tell you, as long as there is cordiality, constant visiting, constant want to do isomoloruko or mugo, and the leader of your enemy comes to be the one to carry the child, they can come, there is still cordiality. They will overwhelm every armor. They would start seeing some leaking, some holes in the armor. So please, ladies and gentlemen, my summation is this: don't go to a family that does not like you. Don't even try it. The man may love you. The woman will swear they will protect you. I will shield you with my life. But that is the first year. Remember, marriage is not for 1 year. You don't marry for love. You marry for longevity. Love is like Maggi in a pot of soup. It is a very small ingredient. And it is not the pot of stew. It just makes the pot of stew a little sweeter. In the pot of soup, the most important things are, number one, the way the tomato blends with the pepper. You're about to say kokuna, abi, kokuna, or it is the way the tomato blends with the pepper. Now knowing you have meat, fish in it and all that, there is still the body of soup. Love is just like Maggi that you add to it. Love is the smallest ingredient in the equation of marriage. So you don't marry for love, you marry for longevity. Will this last? If it will not last, we can have a relationship, outside marriage, because it will be short-lived. You need to know that when someone is cordial with the enemy, you cannot sleep with the enemy cannot come. That is people that don't like you. Christians, you are the bigger fools. Why do we call a person a fool? A fool is a person that does not understand knowledge. A fool sees trouble from afar but cannot identify trouble. A fool sees trouble from afar and walks into trouble. You cannot stand against your spouse's family if they are joined against you. So I tell you, marriage is sweet, except when you are married to the weapon fashioned against you. Mr. Olusegun 347, I told you to ask your question before. You did not ask. Now you're asking me a question in the middle of my own. If I'm married traditionally, do I need a certificate to prove that? The proof of traditional marriage is the payment of bride price. Usually, there are letters written from family to family. Then another proof of traditional marriage are pictures. In the American embassy, to prove traditional marriage, they would want to see pictures, because a lot of times there are scams with marriage. They believe in the American embassy more in traditional marriage, because you can just pick anybody, go to Ikoima and just marry. But traditionally, when families come together, you wear clothes, ashwebi and all that, you have that to prove. They believe that you are married. They believe more in that than even the legal marriage. So traditional, and now I've started seeing traditional marriage certificates. So I saw 2 last week. It was, I was just moved. Delta, one Delta state, then I think one maybe your state. So, traditional marriage, whichever way you want to say. But in the traditional marriage certificate, there's signature of father, signature that is father-in-law, mother-in-law on both sides. Then there's signature of the couples, and then the family head. It's lovely. You started giving that, so you just changed location or gashagu. So that is that for traditional marriage. Ladies and gentlemen, don't marry into a family that does not like you. When you marry, this is very important for women. When you marry, men too, when you marry, and then you notice that the family does not like you. And then the bride or the groom are very close to the same family that does not like the wife. That marriage will not last. It is not that time that you now be giving 3-4 children into the. Listen, it's getting very more difficult to recover to all these ones. Okay, somebody came to me. She had forced labor, as in there's labor and there's extended labor. The labor was really very, and the baby's head was not coming, so they had to do a C-section. They brought out the child, the chemicals, the drugs pumped into this girl's body, anesthesia, she just went unconscious. She was unconscious for 24 hours after, because it was, her BP went up. They had to really bring her down. She woke up the second day after delivery to find out that the mother-in-law has come to take her baby. Let's say take the baby because she was unconscious. No, took the baby from Lagos to Warri. She has not seen the baby she gave birth to for over a year. They did not even consider that this woman will have to breastfeed the baby. Do you understand? Breastfeeding, they did not consider. The mother-in-law came while she was unconscious. You give birth to a child you have not seen. This woman is running mad. Why? Because the family does not. And the son was there. The son was like, Mama, you can't be doing this. Mama, you can. One of the nurses recorded it. Mama, don't take the child now. Mama, they were just arguing. But the mother took the child and said, this is our own. If you want to marry her, you can continue. As for me, we no get hand for inside this marriage. This child is our. And took. Can you imagine? You can't gamble with maybe a sister does not like you. Maybe a sister does not like the sister is. But you see the mother-in-law, father-in-law, and that their firstborn, which is usually the woman. Damilare, you're asking if it is against the law. It doesn't even have to be a baby. Even a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, you can't take a minor from the mother without a court order. It is illegal. But if I would tell you how many children are missing, the husband will just come home, they've cleared the house, the children. Do you know that more and more cases I've seen are cases of missing children? The father there was one that was in the father dressed up the child, said they were going to church. It was a Sunday morning. They usually go for a second service. The father said they will go for first service. They even just dressed up the children. The mother said, if you are going, you should have told me that first so I'll be ready. The man said, no problem, come and meet us in church. The man didn't come back home that day. The woman called, the man switched off the phone. He came back home the second day without the children. And the woman is like, what happened? You did not, she was going crazy. I didn't see husband, I didn't see children. 2 children. And the man came, where are the children? And I said, you'll be talking, you are no longer interested in the marriage. You want to go, yeah, be going. At least you didn't bring children into this house. He had taken the children to Benin. That Benin. I came back and told her to go. Till today we haven't been able to locate. That is one case I will not forget, because that is one case that we were not able to get because it was Benin. Benin, to get a child, they believe there that the male children are for the husband. So to even take a male child, from when they take them to that village and the place is very, they'll just shout, hey, they want it. Benin is very rough. And we were not able to get a government agency there that was willing to take that risk. You don't do that. You don't sleep with the enemy. You don't fraternize with them. Once you see, and I'm telling you with my full chest, and you see that the husband that is supposed to protect you is not able to face his family, or is still very tight that, okay, they're still very intimate, they're very close, but he just says, you are the one he wants, and yeah, it will not. Once they are cordial, the wife, how many times that the wife will just leave. While we were on air last Saturday, and I was talking about mother-in-law, a video came in. The mother-in-law was packing the daughter, as in packing her daughter's clothes. They had an argument. Husband and wife had an argument last night. This morning, it was mother-in-law that knocked on the door, opened, and came, started packing her daughter's things, and they are gone. You cannot be in a marriage with people, a family that does not like you. You cannot. Especially if that your spouse is in very good terms with his family or her family. It will not last. I have spoken. Please consider when you want to marry. It starts on the wedding day. You start seeing problems. They start arguing over food. They start arguing over color. Once you see that this is a contender, or they don't like you, maybe because of something, some people look at you, what state are you from? And when you tell them the state, their countenance changes. Ladies and gentlemen, they are not, listen, there are 20 million, in this Lagos state alone, about 20 million people. Over 10 million men. 11 million women are there, and you want to die over one when there are choices everywhere. Marriage is for longevity. Remember, I said that. It is not for love, but for longevity. Love is small. There's compatibility. Then there is cover. That is, my family likes your family likes me. And we might not be perfect, but the opposition is not that of an enemy. Okay, let me be quiet and listen for questions. Let me see, did someone taking a baby, isn't that even against it? See, all that we are talking, we know people that break the law every day here. During this election, people were seizing PVC. They were reporting, did INEC or the presidency, did they act? Because they are the party in power. So breaking the law is something of no consequence in Nigeria, except you have mouth to talk, or you just hit the right connections. You wake up, ladies and gentlemen, after a long and strenuous birth, that they had to perform an emergency C-section to get the child out. Your BP rose. They had to sedate you. You were out for 24 hours. You woke up the following day and you ask for your child. The child that you have not seen the child that you gave birth to. Because right there, mother-in-law came to the hospital and took forcefully with the father there. That is your husband. Not able to stop his mother from taking your child. Not today. Do you know the risk of even transporting a child, a newborn child, the danger carrying it? It's not even immunization or getting nutrients from the mother. That is the strength of hate. That someone, what they did not do to you, they did not take your own child when you gave birth to, but you are taking your own. When you are talking of hospital, dearest Meg, thinking the hospital is to be blamed, you need to define what a hospital is. There are clinics that are not hospitals. There are medical centers. You understand? If it were a big place, you can't take a child out like that. But if it were a clinic, where that you can fight or bring people, the family members, some staunch that will come and cause wahala with a car that is waiting. they can get away with it. They can get away with it. You see, there are some unforeseen things that you do not foresee. That when they happen suddenly, before you get yourself, they have gone. Yes, this is the world that we live in Nigeria. Don't go to where you are the enemy. Don't marry your enemy. The Bible says love your enemies. Yes, love them. It did not say marry them. Love them. It did not say be friends with your enemies. Love them. Loving is in praying for them, not in giving birth for them. Remember, there is no enemy except that of your father's house. The real enemy is not the... See, a witch cannot fly from Kano to come and attack someone in Lagos. That witch needs to connect with another witch that is in Lagos, in the area that you are. That witch will now, the one in Lagos, will now be the agent of the affliction. You can't travel from here to London to just say you want to go and harm somebody. You need someone in London that will tell you the ways of London. Okay, this is the area the person is by 7 p.m. or you can't, their estate, they close by 7 p.m. so you can't enter. You have to attack him before 7 p.m. It is somebody inside that will give you inside information. So your enemy is not without, but within. Tell them. Don't be thinking Christianity, you will pray and enemies, you now start feeding your enemy. Your enemies just become bigger, they become stronger. Remember, a snake sheds its skin only to become a bigger snake. Do you understand? Don't think by your kindness you will make a snake a friend or you will make an enemy. It is not possible. You feed them, they become bigger problems, bigger enemies. You send them money, they become richer enemies. You clothe them, they become good-looking enemies. You don't marry into that household that is against you. Christians, be careful. You're thinking that you will pray. Imagine telling me that there is nobody I cannot be, me, that I know how to manage anybody. 2 of them have now called me that I thought I could manage people. I thought I could manage any. You don't marry what you are trying to manage. Anyway, thank you everybody for listening. Today, what can I do? Anybody with closing remarks for me? Yes, the next time we meet next week, there would be a new president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, please, vote wisely. In fact, I don't even trust our wisdom. I am voting Peter Obi. I would appeal to you to vote the same. There's no, at this stage, who is trying to be politically correct? I don't have that in my dictionary. We have suffered too long. We cannot plunge ourselves into darkness. You don't put new wine into old wine skins. What are they coming to offer? Is it the toutism in Lagos State? Is it the toutism in Lagos State where they are forcing us? Somebody wants to have a campaign, they lock all the markets. Somebody in a housing estate owned by Lagos State, they are telling you until you vote, then take your picture with a selfie with your thumb on APC before they... I don't understand. I took pictures in a market that was shut down. On Saturday. Every Saturday I go to the market. They shut down the market. We can't eat. We can't feed our children because other parties have come to do rally. We ate, we slept, but because of them, all market women must shut down. I don't understand. Then we come to people who have embezzled from where they came from as vice president. What is left in the office that they want to come and take? People bereft of ideas, people that have done nothing but take and reap from where they did not sow. Please, I think we need a new direction. We need a new direction. We need a new direction. Let me see. Dearest Meg, Peter will be for president. We have voters cards in Jesus' name. Amen. No. But we just prepare. We hope for the best and prepare for the worst. That is how we do. Thank you very much, everyone. It's awesome. Always awesome. At least 3 or 4 people ask questions today. Remember, don't sleep with the enemy. Don't marry your enemy. Stay safe. Wish you all the best. See you as we announce the next president. Hey, God, please. So we pray for Peter Obi, but if Tinubu, and then you see one pastor that has predicted that the military will take over, then they will arrest Tinubu and then give Oshibajo to head an interim government, and then they will now eventually hand over to Peter Obi. Pastors coming with their I don't understand. And this is what always brings ridicule and shame to the church. Trying to predict. God did not come to give you prediction. He says, save my people, feed my flock. Why do they want to show that they have powers to be? Just gave one, well, just like another one said he will be the president, another one said this one will be president. Can't we just keep quiet and let us vote? I wish us all the best.